Baruch then beamed elf waves at the volunteers. The elves go right through the earth, and of course right through metal walls. Was or was not being sent, and Pahurek watched the reactions of the technical equipment. 30% of those inside the room were taken over by the elf signal in 6 to 10 seconds. When I say taken over, I mean their behavior was followed by changes in anticipated at the very precise frequencies. Waves below 6 cycles per second caused the subjects to become very emotionally upset. They even disrupted bodily functions. It means you're going to the bathroom without planning to. At 8.2 cycles, they are very high, an elevated feeling as though they had been a masterful meditation learned over a number of years. 11 to 11.3 cycles induce waves of depression, agitation, leading to riotous behavior. Well, that's quite a statement. So Patrick Flanagan, from the early 1960s, was listed as one of the top scientists of the world by Life magazine. Among his many inventions was a device he called the neurophone, an electronic instrument that can successfully program suggestions directly through contact with the skin. When he had attempted to patent the device, the government demanded that he proved it worked. And when he did, the National Security Agency confiscated the neurophone. It took Pat 2 years of legal battle to get his invention back. And using this device, you won't hear or see a thing. It is applied to the skin, which Pat claims is the source of the special senses. The skin contains much more sensors for heat, touch, pain, vibration, electrical fields than any other part of the human anatomy. In one of his recent tests, Pat conducted 2 identical seminars for a military audience, one seminar one night, one the next night, because the size of the room was not enough to accommodate all of them at one time. When the first group proved very cool and unwilling to respond, Patrick spent the next day making special tape to play for the second seminar. The tape instructed the audience to be extremely warm, responsive, for their hands to become tingly. The tape was played through the neurophone, which was then connected to a wire he placed along the ceiling of the room. There were no speakers, no sound could be heard, yet the message was successfully transmitted from that wire directly to the brains of the audience. They were warm, receptive, their hands tingled, they responded according to the programming in other ways I cannot mention here. So the more we find out about how human beings work through today's highly advanced technological research, the more we learn to control human beings, and that is what scares me the most. It's from Dick Sutpin. The medium for takeover is in place. The television set in your living room, bedroom, is doing a lot more than entertaining you. So you can continue on. It goes on for about another page on the hours and the effect of it. So just turn to the bottom of page 18 on the right side, a Purdue project by Jacob Jacoby, a Purdue University psychologist, found that of 2,700 people tested, 90% misunderstood simple viewing fares such as commercials and Barnaby Jones. Only minutes after watching, the typical viewer missed 23 to 36% of the questions asked about what he or she had just seen. Of course, they were going in and out of a trance, exactly as is induced in India and by Maharishi Mahesh Yogi. If you go into a deep trance, you must be instructed, remember, to automatically forget. So you have to be told to forget the suggestions you've received, but retain the suggestion you receive, which sounds more than a little bit odd to us. But I mean, that is the fact of it. And on the bottom of the left side of page 19 here, I've just touched on the tip of the iceberg. When you start to combine subliminal messages behind the music, subliminal visuals behind what's projected on the screen, hypnotically produced visual effects, sustained musical beats at a trance-inducing space. So here you have, rave parties and this type of thing, all of which induces conduct unbecoming. So I don't think there's anybody would have any disbelief or confusion about any of this. The reason we wanted to present it is to bring it to everybody's mind, to show how your mind is being assaulted, and be sure you're able to be clear on why you're thinking what you were thinking. And if you believe you're responsible for your God and Father, that you'll be sure you're maintaining what He wants in your life, and you're able to digest information you're given, throw out the garbage, and digest it so that you're not so easily or readily conned as most people are by this type of suggestions. So you have extremely effective brainwashing. Every hour you spend watching TV, you become more conditioned. And in any case you thought there was a law against such things, guess again, there isn't. There are a lot of powerful people who obviously prefer things exactly the way they are, and maybe they have plans for us. And the point on, I have the greatest respect for Mr. Sutton, which is why we're publishing this as he requested, because he's made it. He's concerned about what is taking place amongst the Americans, as he termed it, but I mean Westerners in general. But really, it's all humanity. So whether you go back to the Hashashins, the assassins and the hash eaters that are stoned and conditioned to go and blow themselves up in some sort of a format to get into whether it's heaven or some other featured place, that type of thing. This type of programming is taking place almost non-stop. It took place in Russia in the 30s and 40s. It took place in China, etc. Everywhere a government has taken control of its population, and we're all heading into a period on planet Earth that it's going to be the worst time in human history, called the tribulation, where a body of individuals are going to have absolute and complete control over everyone and how you think, and the outcome will not be good. And it will be much better if all of the British Commonwealth of Nations and America and really everybody else on planet Earth would keep the law of God and keep the covenant, keep the commandment, so that we all can escape these things and not have to go through them. So I think I'll close with that. A little bit that I missed there, but it's a lengthy paper, and everybody probably should read it again if they didn't understand anything, because he's a very good writer and commenting on that. And it's important that we really understand it, so if we're going to comment about what somebody else may be doing or saying, we should perhaps restrain ourselves until we're clear, and yet not let people get away with certain improper comments. So anyway, I will